this is the bedroom before. So as you can see, it's just quite plain. It's the bed from my old place, just put in this room with a little makeshift bedside table, bedside lamp. Never really done anything with this room. Kept the curtains that were here in the rented property already. I've not hung any pictures. There's actually 2 of them frames. I don't know where the other one is. And yeah, just I put random bedding on it. And yeah, just not a very exciting room, as it were. So I started thinking about it quite a while ago, about what I wanted to do. And actually last year I picked up some bits that I wanted to put in the spare room makeover. These bits are probably not available anymore because I bought them so long ago. And I've sort of based the whole makeover around them, really. Kind of like a jungly theme. So yeah, I'll show you those bits. The first thing was this bedding. I bought this bedding so long ago. I bought this when I lived back in the village, in the old house. I always knew my bedding was going to be white and I was going to add colour in other ways. The first things I got were a couple of pieces from Matalan. They were actually gifted to me last year and I've had them for ages. And I was going to do the spare room makeover last year and I just ran out of time really and then decided not to rush it. So the first was this kind of Mongolian-esque fluffy cushion, which is in a cream colour. It's lovely, it just adds some lovely texture. And then the other was this throw, this chevron throw that's kind of darker on one side and lighter on the other. I really liked the sort of mustardy colour. I like the contrast of pattern between the flocked bedding and the throw. The next thing I picked up was this amazing cushion from Asda, George at Home, Asda. I got this in the sale for £4. I don't think you can get this anymore. I'm really sorry, quite a few of these things you won't be able to get anymore, but tiger print is massive now for spring. H&M's got loads of it, so you'll definitely find some. I'll try and link some in the description box. But yeah, bargainous little cushion. I loved the green. I loved the leopard print with the hint of pink. And again, this kind of ochre colour, which works really nice with my throw. So yeah, so that was one. This is an old H&M cushion, which I used to have in the old house. I got it for £1 in the H&M sale. Very tribally. Used to just sit in my dining room. Never really went with anything. Now it sort of sits within this tribally scheme. And the most recent cushion addition is from PRIMARK Home. This is a lovely like flock velvety, fake velvet cushion with again that kind of ochre-y mustardy colour with a palm print. And the idea is that these are all just going to be scatter cushions on the bed. But the great thing about a spare room is it's only really used when people come to visit, which means you can have all these cushions and things out on display. You're not having to remove them every night. So that's kind of where my theme came from, and I've sort of stuck with it. And then I've decided that what I would like to do is have some contrasting bedding in some, so I have white pillowcases and then possibly like a brownie colour bedding. And then I want my furniture to be all, get rid of this obviously, rubbish table and lamp. Get some cool bamboo stuff. I really want to buy some second-hand furniture, which I think will look really nice. And I love a little bit of upcycling. And I want to do something with the headboard. I'm thinking maybe I'm going to pad the headboard and upholster it. So yeah, so that's what's going to happen in this room. And a new lampshade, because that's just the one that was here. And some new curtains to hopefully tie in with the whole theme. So yeah, that is the plan. So I'm quite excited, and I'm going to try and do it, as I said, with lots of second-hand pieces and lots of upcycling and DIY, and try and do it on a bit of a budget. I do actually have some old white curtains from my old house, and I might try dyeing them as a first sort of stab in order to save some money. Yeah, so that is the plan. Good morning. So I've got to go in the car this morning to go and pick up this set of shelves that I've bought off Facebook Marketplace, which I'm hoping are going to fit into my spare room makeover. She's also got a little bamboo table as well, and I've said if I like that I might take that as well. Then I'm going to go for a little wander in B&M. I love a B&M wander. And maybe pop into somewhere like Homebase because I need to pick up some paint and things. So yeah, buying things on Facebook Marketplace is literally my new favourite thing to do. These bamboo shelves are 20 quid and they're quite big. So I hope they fit somewhere in the spare room. So I've kind of set up the room to give me an idea of how stuff might look. So I can't decide what to do with the headboard. I think what I'm going to do is upholster it.
with tan leather, I thought, fake leather. But yeah, I've been faffing around since I got back with the shelves and things to work out where everything's going to go. Now, I did want the shelves to go over here in the corner, but it was too tight to get in the bed. They did fit, but the depth meant, I mean, because it isn't the world's biggest room, and I don't want to buy a new bed. This bed is actually quite long. It's from IKEA. I've had it ages, and as you can see, my mattress is actually a lot smaller than the bed is. So there's all this wasted depth. So I did debate about buying a new bed, but for now I just want to make over the bed that I've got because I don't want to spend too much money. I'm trying to do this on a bit of a budget. So the bedside table that I already had is there. The table that I bought today is going to sit in that corner, I think, with a plant on. And then in this corner here is where my new shelving unit's going to go. It is currently here, right next to me. So I really like this pale bamboo colour. I'm not so keen on this darker shelf colour, and I certainly don't like the orangey colour of that bedside table and the slightly yellowy colour of that little side table. So my plan is today is to try and strip off this varnish off this bedside table. I had a little bit of a go the other night to see if it would sand off, and it does sand off relatively easy, so I would like to get it back to a kind of a pale bamboo colour. I don't think I'll get it all off this wicker effect because it's all sort of ingrained into the wicker. So my plan is actually to just concentrate on the bamboo, give this a little sand, because I'm going to paint this, the drawer front, and this bottom shelf a darker colour, like maybe a dark brown or something. And I think it's going to be the same colour that the bed frame is going to be. So the bed frame is currently grey. So I'm going to paint that a dark brown, and then the same with my new shelves. These are just wooden inserts that come out or fall out. Yeah, so I'm going to paint those in the same dark colour. So this is the Annie Sloan chalk paint colour book. The reason why I like to use Annie Sloan is I know how it goes on. It goes on really nice. You don't have to prime, you don't have to really sand, and I just really like the finish. But yeah, dark brown colour, I'm thinking maybe this here, maybe cocoa. But yeah, I'll need to get some samples and see what they're like. So I'm quite happy how this has come out. I've just started on the drawer. I'm actually using a wire brush like this that I just got at B&M this morning to brush the majority of the varnish off this rattan effect. But yeah, I'm never going to be able to get it all the way off, which is a shame because it would be nice to maybe paint this dark and leave this light, but I'm going to have to do it the other way around. But the bamboo itself is coming up fine, but I definitely think it's going to need a varnish on it just to look similar to the other bamboo shelves. But yes, I'm going to keep going. So I've only done the drawer, got to do the frame. So yeah, so it has taken a while. This is now Sunday and I've just finished it. It has been a lot of labour to get this to this stage, but I do think it was worth it. I need to sand the little side table as well, but the other thing I'm going to do is there are some little holes in certain places on it from the staples, which obviously keep the table together, and there's a little gap here. I'm actually going to get some wood filler and I'm going to filler some of those holes so that when I varnish it, it just looks a little bit neater. And then yeah, I'm definitely going to go with painting these rattan areas darker. I think that would look really nice. These framed prints, they actually used to be in my bedroom in my old house. You possibly may remember them. I want to reuse these frames, and actually there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with the perspex that's in them. But I decided I wanted them to look like wood again. So I decided to buy some of that sticky back PVC. So you might have seen this in my upcycling of the IKEA desk. I used the marble version for that, and I remember that there was some confusion because I kept calling it, what did I keep calling it? PVC or sticky back PVC, and in America you guys call it contact paper, yeah? So basically it's contact paper, and I've bought myself some Wood Effect contact paper from The Range, which is a homeware store here in the UK. So this is it. It is the DC Fix. So I've gone for this colour, which is called Ribbeck Oak. Now they did have a colour that was slightly more orangey, like these tables are. However, I am going to be painting sections of those tables in a darker brown. So there's going to be light and dark brown. And I liked the fact that this had bits of a darker brown in. And also, you're not going to see very much. This frame is very thin. You're only going to see a slight bit of it. So my plan is to cut out pieces and cover, is that for me? And cover the frame in it. And I think what I'm going to do is do one first and work out my method. And then when I've sussed it out, I'm going to film how I do the second one. I think that's probably the best thing. So then I can sort of take my time to get this first one right in front of the telly. My favourite place to do DIY.
So I haven't filmed for a couple of days because I've been unwell. I'm still a little bit unwell. I look a bit rough. But I wanted to show you because some paint did arrive. So my Annie Sloan samples arrived, and I've already done some testing of them. So this is the old ochre. Then you've got cocoa and honfleur. So I've used the old ochre to do a very, very, very light wash on this bedside table just to even up the colour. Very light wash, and then sanded it back. And then I've tested the two colours. So this is honfleur and this is cocoa, to see what colour I want to do these panels. And I think I really like honfleur. So my job for today is I'm going to varnish all of this wood colour. And then I'm going to paint all these panels this dark brown colour. And I'm actually going to paint my bed this dark brown colour as well. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this bedside table is looking.
Marka, is it somewhere that you're going to have as a holiday home, or do you think you might retire here?
Be as a holiday home, but once I've stopped working, then we'll spend more time.
Yeah, and if we did want to retire here, we'd probably spend the kids.
So one of the things I wanted to do was make over the headboard end of it, but my search for fabric has been really tricky because I wanted a sort of fake leather and everything. I wanted to buy it in a store because I think with fabric it is always better to be able to touch it, to feel it. I didn't want to go through spending a fortune on loads of samples online. However, I just couldn't find anything in store. They were all very, very plasticky. So I started looking down different routes like canvas and that kind of thing. So I've got some samples here. I do think I've made a decision, hurrah. And actually I ordered the fabric and the fabric arrived yesterday. So that's why today's task is to actually do this headboard, yeah. But I thought I would just show you these samples first. Can't actually find one of the samples, although it doesn't really matter. So I went to my favourite fabric shop, which is the Cheap Shop in Tiptree. And there they did have a sort of fake PVC type leathery stuff, but it was just, yeah, it just wasn't the right colour. But they did have this, which I was so tempted by. This is a cork effect. Ignore the staple in it. This is a cork effect fabric, right? So it's kind of fabric backed. They class it as a vinyl. But it's got these, I'm going to try and show you. Let's see if you can see. Can you see those gold bits in it? And it's so nice. And I thought, oh my God, a cork headboard, that would be so cool. However, I brought it home and I put it alongside the paint colour, and this paint colour is looking very light at the moment. Let me adjust the lighting. Yeah, so I came home and put it next to the paint colour that the bed was, and also the bedside table that I've made over, and it just didn't quite work. This is quite orangey toned, and this is actually quite a cool brown, and so it just didn't quite work, which is a shame, because I really liked the idea of it. But I definitely might try and think of another DIY to do somewhere else with this clever cork fabric. Oh, here's the other plasticky PVC. So this was it. So what I wanted originally was this kind of tan distressed leather headboard. This is like one of those fake vinyls, and it just, oh, I don't know. It just doesn't have the right tones to it. I didn't like how plasticky it was. So that was that. And I went on eBay. It's tricky with eBay. You never quite know what you're going to get. But I am so happy with these fabrics. So these fabrics turned up, the samples. Samples were £1 each. So obviously, but free postage. They actually call this colour tan. I would say it's just a brown colour. That I would say tan should really have more of an orangey colour in it. Anyway, this colour they call rust, and this is literally the perfect colour. This background colour of brown is just really nice next to this brown. It's got the right amount of tan without being too orangey. It looks really nice and distressed, and also, so it's a faux leather, but with this kind of backing. It's not plasticky at all. It feels lovely and soft. And it looks really real, but obviously it's not. And also it was £9 a metre. £9 a metre, which I just think is absolutely brilliant. Such a good price. So that's what I ordered. I ordered the rust colour, and it all arrived. I ordered 2 metres. It cost me £18. Then I went to my local fabric shop and bought some wadding to pad it out. And I also obviously had to buy a board. So I'm going to show you everything and get going with this headboard DIY. So I'm really excited to see it finished. So I got this board from B&Q. I've taken all the, what do you call them? Struts? Call them struts? Planks out the bed so that I can step in and out of it. So yeah, so I bought this board from B&Q. It's just literally a thin ply. I would have liked it a little bit wider, but this is the standard width that it comes in, which I think is 60 centimetres. But it's fine because this is all going to be covered in fabric. This is just to create more of a solid base for my wadding and then my fabric. So yeah, this was, I think about, how much was it? £7 for the sheet. And B&Q will do about 5 cuts for free. After that, it's like 50p or something for them to cut it. So they chopped it down. It was actually much longer than this. So they chopped it down. So, yeah, my plan is to put some holes in this and then screw it into the bed. Now, this bed is an IKEA bed. And up here on the top are the bolts that basically screw it together. And those bolts come down to about here. So I'm going to have to put the screws in further down so that I don't encounter any bolts. But yeah, so I'm going to drill, I think I'll probably put another one somewhere in the centre as well. So it'd be 5 in total. So I do actually own a Makita. Doesn't seem to be running that fast at the moment, which is a little bit annoying. It is charged. But yes, I'm just going to do that now, put some holes in this, line it up with the back of the bed, mark where I need to drill some pilot holes into the back of the bed, and then yeah, screw the board in. Okay, so the board is all on there. I actually put 6 screws in it just to keep it secure. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a kind of paddedness. These are all the technical terms, by the way. So I've got a couple of things to do that. Obviously, I'm trying to do it on a bit of a budget, and this wadding stuff that you use to pad out can be quite expensive. Now, you could buy a piece of foam that's exactly the right size, but I don't want it too deep, too padded. So my local fabric shop had this quite thick wadding, but they only had this one bit, which obviously is not long enough to do the whole thing. So I'm going to slice off that little bit and put a little bit either side, so that basically the centre of the headboard is a little bit more padded. But I also am going to utilise an old cushion filler. And then I've got some thinner wadding, which is 2 meters long, which will cover the whole thing and wrap over the top and over the corners. So the whole thing has a slightly more rounded look. And I'm going to stick it all on there with, this is just a spray adhesive. I am going to have to open the windows because it is going to be quite strong, this. Also, for some reason, the heating's come on, so I'm absolutely boiling. Okay, so I just thought I would show you closer up what I've done. So you'll have seen that I sort of put the bigger wadding in the middle with some of the cushion wadding on the outside, and then this thin piece that was 2 meters long I've wrapped around the whole thing. I've stapled it down along the bottom there. And then at the back, I don't actually have a board for the back. I did think about getting another board, but it's going to be up against the wall. It seemed like an unnecessary expense. But yeah, so I folded it over at the ends. I've not pulled it too tight. Put some staples in along the top, folded the ends in and stapled. So now I need to cover it in the fabric and essentially do the same thing. Staple it along the bottom, fold it over the back and staple it, and then do a nice neat turn like this with the corners. But I need to steam the fabric first because it is a little bit creased. Okay, so it's getting a bit dark now outside, so I've had to put the light on, but it is finished. Now, it was a little bit of a palaver to get all the corners and the edges neat. I'm not the best upholsterer in the world. Even when I worked at a theatre, upholstery wasn't really my thing. I never know how you get rid of all the excess fabric. However, for me, it's not that big a deal because this bed is actually going to sit up against the wall. So all I wanted was for the top, the sides and the front to be really, really neat. And that's what it is. So I'm not too worried about how the back looks. It's pretty neat, but I'm going to show you now. So as you can see, it's sort of unfinished along there, but you're not going to see any of that because that'll actually be, so I've got the slats to go in the bed and the mattress is going to come to up to about here anyway. And my mattress was actually too small for my bed frame. So the good thing is about this now sticking out more is I'm hoping it'll just push the mattress that little bit further down the bed, which will be helpful to me actually. So this is what the edges look like. Really nice and neat on the edges. I'm really happy and I've got no like big creases in. As you can see at the back, it's not as neat. I've got some sort of like what I would call puckering. However, some of that is based on the fact that there is no board back here, so there's nothing tight to pull it against. But whenever I upholster, I always end up with this kind of thing. And as much as you try and fold the fabric and get rid of it and stretch it out, I do always end up with that. But as I said, this is at the back. It's up against the wall, so it wouldn't bother me as much. If you were going to do this kind of upholstery and you are going to see the back of the bed, my suggestion would be to take the fabric over the top and over the sides and staple, and actually cut a rectangle that is exactly the right size for the back, and fold over the edge, well, slightly bigger than the back so that you can make a little seam, fold over the edge and then staple it on. And then what I would do with the staples to hide them, you've got two options. I'm not going to bother because you're not going to see. But you've got two options with the staples. Either get some of those upholstery tacks in gold. You can buy them in a strip, and you could run a strip of them down the side to hide all of your staples. You just tap them on or glue them on. Or you could buy some braid, like a decorative braid from a fabric shop, and you could glue that down. But for me, you ain't going to see any of that. It's all going to be against the wall. So from the front and the sides that you will see, it's nice and neat. So I'm really happy with it. So yeah, while the lights, there's still a little bit of light, I'm just going to give the bed, because I have sort of bashed a few bits of the bed, I can obviously see now what you're going to be able to see of the bed. So I'm going to give the bed a little bit of a touch up and a second coat, and then leave it to dry. And tomorrow I'm going to crack on with some other bits. So catch you tomorrow. Hello. So I've got some new bits to show you. Yeah, I've got some new additions to the room, which I picked up before the big coronavirus lockdown, and I'm so glad I did, because obviously now I won't be able to go out and get anything, but I feel like I've got all the bits that I need now. So yeah, let me show you what I've picked up. So here's the finished bed. I've put the mattress back on at the moment. It's a pretty old mattress. I would have liked a new one. Carrying on using the old mattress. So I'm waiting for the bedding to arrive, the bottom sheets. So I haven't made the bed yet. But let me show you some of the new things that I've got. So one of the first is this little bedside table over here. So over there is the one that I painted. Like stripped it and painted it, and I actually only had one because I bought it on Facebook Marketplace, but I found this, which is very similar. It's more of like a plant stand, bedsidey table, but it had a similar feel to it with the same kind of woven top. So I did the same thing. I gave it a light sand just to strip the slightly orangey colour off it. Yeah, painted the top and the bottom sort of rattan-y bit in the same brown, and gave it a little coat of matte varnish to protect it. So that's going to sit on this side as this side's bedside table. Then I got this plant when I was in Homebase in the sale for £7, and it's in this lovely kind of seagrassy basket pot, which I think looks lovely. So I'm thinking this might sit here on this bedside table. And then some other sort of seagrassy bits that I got. So the first one is this bin, which I got from, where did I get this from? Dunelm. So this is from Dunelm, and it actually had this cotton liner in it. So I've taken that out because I actually just want it as a plain basket. I think this was about £7. Oh yeah, there we go, still got the label on it. £6. Isn't that good? Seagrass waste paper bin. So it's kind of got the same kind of feel as that plant pot there. Then the next thing I got, I'm so happy with this. I haven't put it up yet. I've tested it and it does look nice, but then I took it down again, is this lampshade. I flipping love this lampshade, and it was such a good price. So this is from Asda, George Home. This was £30. £30. Which, when you compare some of the other places where they're £40, £50, and it's a really nice design, it's a really good size, it's just gonna hang from the normal pendant up there. The only downside is that the pendant is not completely central to the bed, but that's obviously the downside of when your house is rented. You just have to sort of accept where the lights are. But that's going to be the new lampshade. And then to carry on the seagrass theme, when I was in Asda picking up, because I actually bought that online, they don't have that in store, bought it online and picked it up in store. But when I was in store, Asda had these two woven storage baskets. So these are going to go on that shelving unit that I've got in the corner. So yeah, really happy with them. As you can see, definite theme. My little bedside table I got in my local charity shop for £15. So if you remember, I had that other table that I got when I bought these shelves. And I tried sanding and it just wasn't working. It wasn't looking right. And so I just thought it only cost me a £5, that table. And I just thought, for the sake of a £5, if it's not working, just give up. I couldn't get it to be the sort of same colour as everything else. So actually what I've decided to do is I painted it off-white, and I'm going to sell it as a separate piece of furniture, even if I just make my £5 back on Facebook Marketplace. But at the moment it is in my shed. Actually it's under my stairs, because I'm not selling or buying anything on Facebook Marketplace with obviously the coronavirus. I'm staying clear of everybody and everything. So I have left from the old house some curtains. Excuse me. They're just IKEA cheap tab top curtains, kind of like a muslin-y effect. And they're white, well, ever so slightly off-white. They're quite long, and they are quite see-through. However, in an effort to try and do things on a budget, I think I'm going to try and dye them for this spare room. So I've bought some dye. And I also have left from the old house some blackout lining fabric, which I ripped out of some other curtains before I put them in the recycling, because they were all marked, the curtains. But blackout material is quite expensive. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and dye these white curtains a darker, I think, brown. See how they come out. I'm not going to adjust the length yet. They will need adjusting to fit in the window, but I'll do that after, because I want to wash them and check that they come out okay, and then adjust them. And then yeah, I think I'm going to put the blackout liners in as well, so that the room is nice and dark, but the outside fabric is lovely and thin. So that's what I'm going to try out now. I've bought myself a dye. So this is the dye that I've bought. I've bought Dylon Machine Dye Espresso Brown. Now, they might come out too dark, brown. But in an effort to stop that from happening, you are actually supposed to wash the fabric beforehand so that the dye soaks in better. I'm going to be a rebel. These Dylon pods, you literally just put the whole thing in the machine. You don't have to faff around with salt or anything like that. So that's what I'm going to do now. And then if this doesn't work out, then I've only spent £6 on a dye, and then I can buy some other curtains if it doesn't work. I'm not going to lie, I'm quite excited about this. Yeah, so you peel off the packaging, you peel off the lid off the top, the sort of foil lid, this one, can't see it, and you literally put the whole pod in with your fabric. Look at it! Oh, there goes the colour. Can you see the colour coming out? Ooh, so this is a first look. So that's the first wash done, and then you have to take this out and you have to just run a normal wash now with detergent. So quite like the colour so far. Let's not look too close though. My curtains are up, the ones that I dyed, and I'm quite happy with the colour. I think they look quite nice. Considering it's only cost me £6 to do it, I'm quite happy, and I can totally live with the colour. They're already the perfect length. I decided just to leave them the length that they were. My blackout liner doesn't go all the way to the floor, but I basically use some of that Wonder Web or iron on hem, and I used an iron and just put the blackout liner in like that. So that means when anybody comes to stay, the room will be nice and dark, but from the outside you've got this lovely lightweight curtain. So the other job, I've just had approval this week that I'm allowed to paint this curtain pole. So at the moment it is silver, and the landlord said that I can paint it white. So I'm going to take the pole down and spray the pole and the finials. But yeah, so jobs for today are spray the pole, finish painting the shelves, put up the lampshade, I think. Oh, and then the only other thing to show you, yes, of course, is my new little lamp. So my little banana leaf lamp is actually an Asda light, which I've done a DIY on. And the DIY of how I did this, I made this out of a cushion. I really loved the cushion fabric, but I felt like I had enough cushions for the bed, and so I bought this cheap lamp from Asda and made it over. So if you want to watch that, I'll put the link in my bio, in the description box. It's over on Instagram TV. So yeah, but I think that looks great. It's not really, I've just whacked it on there at the moment. I haven't sort of dressed any of this. And then the last thing is I'm going to create some new artwork to go above the bed, and then that'll be it. The room will be finished. I'm so excited. Hello, so the makeover continues. Now, I can't remember what the last thing was that I filmed to do with this spare room makeover. There has been a bit of a gap. I was waiting for quite a lot of things to arrive, and also I was DIYing various things. So I'm in the final stretch today. Today is the last day on this room. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing today, and then I will give you the final and finished tour. And yeah, you'll be able to see it all in its glory. I'm really happy with it. Just got to do a couple of things and make the bed, finally iron the bed in and put the new bedding on and just like do all the finishing touches, you know. So yeah, I'm excited. So let's power through. I'll show you what I'm up to today. So one of the things I'm trying to do is reuse the items that I already had for the spare room. So I already had this photo frame, but it was a light wood. So I've stained it just slightly darker with a little bit of paint mixed with water. I might go a tiny little bit darker. I'm going to see when it dries. And then I hunted on Pinterest and found some cute free printable quotes to then put in the frame. So this is going to go in it, which kind of goes with the whole botanical theme, but also I like the sentiment of it. I've just printed it out myself at home. I think that's going to look really cute in there once the frame's dried. So yeah, and I'm repainting plant pots and things so that I can repurpose them in the new spare room. And obviously, partly because I can't go out and buy anything. But yeah, over there is a plant pot which is drying, which is going to have that fake grass in it. This slightly dying succulent's also going to go in there somewhere. So yeah. You see, this is what you have to do when there's only you. Well, this is one of the hardest things I think about decorating on your own, is things like hanging pictures or where to put things, especially if they need to be put up somewhere. Because there's not two of you, you can't put it up and then one step back and look at it and say, what do you think, higher, lower? So you have to sort of make do. So I'm currently balancing my pictures on kitchen roll to try and choose a height for them. Now, the thing that I'm going to do to try and help this, because there's just me, is I'm actually going to put them up the way I put up my pictures downstairs behind my dining table, which is instead of a single hook or a single nail that you're trying to then match with the back of the picture, I actually put two, in total there'll be 4 screws, 2 for each frame. Sort of set distance apart, maybe it's like 20 centimetres apart. And what that means is that the frames just rest on them. And that means you can slide the frames from side to side, which means you can adjust the gap. So all you really have to do here is pick the height. To pick the height and get the 4 screws in a nice straight line using a spirit level. But then essentially you have a lot of leeway to move the frames from side to side, and this worked really well downstairs for my 3 Decenio prints, because it means if I move my dining table along or I shift the dining room around, I can always get the prints to be central. The same thing I think in here. You know, I might possibly in the future change the bed, but I might always want the pictures above the bed, and that way they can shufty along this way, and that way you can adjust the gap in between, and I don't have to keep drilling holes in a rented house wall. So at the moment, what I can't decide is if that's high enough, if I think the print should go a little bit higher. So I'm going to mark in pencil a line that's just a little bit higher than that, and then work to that really. But yeah, I think they look really good. They actually go the other way around. I think this print is supposed to be on this side, but it doesn't matter. And that's the other thing, you can swap them around, and because they're just resting on screws. These are all my collection of items to dress on these shelves. So I'm going to do that as well. Oh, there's a fly in here. And then the last thing I need to suss out is this hanging terrarium-y thing, which I think I want up in this corner. So I think I'm just going to go for it. And if I don't like it, I'll have to filler the hole. The other option is in the window, but I'm not sure about that. But yeah, so I'm going to get on with putting these pictures up. I won't film me drilling into the walls and stuff. I've got a stand all over the bed. Okay, it occurred to me that some of you might be interested in how I measured to where to put my hooks. So as I said, because of the way I'm going to do this, you don't have to be as precise, I don't think, because you get leeway with the pictures. So I have found the centre of the bed, because the pictures are going to sit within the bed rather than within the room. And I've then measured up to where I wanted the top of the pictures to be. So I've gone for, I think it's something like 80 odd centimetres. To find that line, I've used my trusty plastic meter stick. This thing is just brilliant. And then what I use is I actually use the Spirit Level app on my phone, which looks like this, and you can place it on top of, because this ruler's got depth to it, you place your phone on top of that on the wall, you can get it perfectly straight, and then you can mark any distance along it. It's so good. So that's how I've done it. I've done it this way round and used the Spirit Level on its side, because it has on the side option to create a straight line going straight up to find my top point. And then I've done the same for a line across, and basically I've created 2 marks for each picture that are the same distance out from the centre, and then the same distance again. Okay, so there we go. A little bit hard to see. I've got my 4 screws in. What I did was I hung the pictures on there and Spirit Leveled them again just to check before I did any jiggery pokery. And then any sort of excess plaster drop or any cracks or anything like that, I filler now and paint and neaten it all up. So even though when I move out, I'm going to have to take the screws out and filler the holes properly, it's nice to have them nice and neat rather than behind the pictures is just a load of carnage. And I've hoovered up after all the dust drops. So, need to put the pictures up and dress the shelves. So here we go, it is finished. Dum 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 dum. Mana. Okay, so let's give you a little tour around. So here as you come in the door is a sort of just little nook. And whenever my parents stayed, they said there was nowhere to hang coats up and things like that, because no hooks on the back of the door or anything. So this is that little DIY that I did. It's going to be on my IGTV, so go and follow me over on Instagram and you'll soon see how I created this little DIY set of peg hooks. So that's there on the wall, and then down at the bottom we've got the waste paper bin, which I showed you a while ago. I've got my pampas grass, and this vase used to be a different colour. It used to be black and white at the top with a stone effect at the bottom, and I gave it a new lease of life with some of that Annie Sloan paint in, I can't remember the shade. And then over to the bed, So as I said, I can't remember which of these bits I've shown you, so I'm just going to talk you through everything again, especially for those people who've maybe just zoomed straight to the end and they just want to see the finished room, which is totally fine. So we've got the bed that's been painted with the DIY faux leather headboard. Then down on the floor we've got just a little rug, a little jute rug from La Redoute. And I love it, it's just sticking out. It's actually obviously a circle, but it's just sticking out halfway next to the bed, which is really cute. On the bed, we've got a mustardy chevron throw, which I have had for a while, squirreled away, along with this bedding. I've had this bedding ages. I've been waiting to put it on a bed. So I don't know if this is still available. I'll do my best to link something similar. And there's my cushions that I showed you earlier on in the video. So I've got them piled up on the bed, lots of different patterns and textures. My beautiful La Redoute linen pillowcases and bottom sheet in this kind of beigey colour. Over here in the corner is my little vintage upcycled bedside table. So on there I've got a little lamp, which is another DIY. Again, it'll be over on my IGTV, which looks lovely when it's on. I'll show you. Look how cute that looks. So that's the little bedside table, just a little book there. Little plant, a little candle on a little block of wood. So these bits of wood are from the tree at my old house, and I am eventually going to turn these into little coasters. I've bought a little tool for burning designs into wood, and I'm going to try and make a little design on this and wax it up. So that's there. And then on this side of the room obviously was the wardrobes. I've not changed the handles to gold. I maybe would have liked to, but obviously it's not my house, and at the moment it doesn't bother me. So then up on the ceiling we've got the lampshade, obviously, which I showed you earlier on. My artwork, which there are some reflections from outside, so hopefully you can see how that looks. Maybe I'll come around this way. So yeah, really pleased with this artwork. Again, this is a separate DIY on my IGTV. I've got a DIY of how I turned the frames from white to wood, and also a separate DIY coming of how I created the artwork. So definitely follow me over on Instagram if you want to see how I made all these individual pieces. But yeah, really pleased with the height. The heights worked. They're lovely and level. I think it looks really, really nice. Over in the corner, we've got my new lamp from La Redoute. My bargain plant on my little vintage plant stand, bedside table, which I painted as well. Just a couple of books down there. The great thing about this lamp is, as you can see, it's got a really, really small marble base, which means it just fits perfectly in there. You've got a little pull cord. Woo! And yeah, I just think that looks really, really cute in the corner there as an extra sort of ambient source of light. Got my little dyed curtains up. As I said, am I 100% happy with the colour? I think a colour similar to the bed sheets might have been nicer. However, they don't horribly offend me. And as I said, I was trying to do all of this on a budget. So it cost me £6 for the dye, and that's it. So I've reused something I already had. Got the curtain pole, which I sprayed white, which just looks so much better. And I'm glad I didn't do it gold, because then whoever moves in next, white's a much easier colour to live with. And then over in the corner, I've got my shelves. So I did hang my hanging plant up in the corner. And then on the shelves, this is my Facebook Marketplace bargain bamboo shelves. This is sort of a temporary arrangement. I quite like the arrangement. So this is the frame that I showed you earlier with the little print inside. It's a little plant I already had, and then this is that planter that I've painted, a slightly more neutral colour. It was blue, and it had a fake plant, much bigger fake plant in it. I took that old fake plant out and put a new different one in. Matalan, this is actually a Matalan fake plant, and they have actually got a pot like this, pretty similar, so I'll link that in the description box. Down on the next level is my new H&M vase, which I got this week. I bought it with some birthday money from my brother. It's sold out, so I can't link it. I'm so sorry. It's so beautiful, isn't it? And I know everybody's going to be like, where's that from? Got a few of my crystals, a little wooden duck there. They're all my Harry Potter books, but they're the opposite way around, just so they look a little bit more aesthetically appealing. I know that's really wanky, but And then down here, just, yeah, a couple of storage baskets. I think eventually I'd like to store maybe some products and things for people who are visiting, maybe like some flannels and some bits and bobs of soaps and things like that maybe, but at the moment they're just empty. Then down the bottom is a palm tree storage box, which I had from my old bathroom, and I just think it's really handy to have it there. I actually keep like my spare toilet rolls and things in this room, usually in the wardrobe, but I could hide them in there, it'd be a good place to hide them. And then up here on the wall we have got my cane mirror. So this cane mirror is another DIY, I know, and it is over on my IGTV, a tutorial of how I made this cane mirror. I used a lot of things that I already had, and obviously I like making things, but if making things isn't your cup of tea, there's lots of these kind of things that you can buy, so I put some of them in the description box. But that sits there, and it's at this height because most of the people who stay in this room are my mum and dad, and my mum is quite short, bless her. So I've put it a little bit lower so my mum can see herself in it when she comes. So yeah, but I think that looks really cute. That's my little corner over there. I like the hanging plant. It's got a little bit of height to it. And yeah. And that is the finished room. All done. And I'm really, really pleased with it. I think it looks really cozy and lovely. And yeah, I'm really, really happy. And I feel like I've done it. Obviously, I've done it all myself. And on sort of a budget. And that's it. Done and dusted. Several weeks of work. A hell of a lot of DIYs. But I really, really love it. I'm really happy with it. And actually, obviously, if I moved out, I've made minimal changes to the actual room in terms of colour. I think I would like to think about putting a colour on that back wall, maybe, behind the bed. I definitely think that's something I would like to add to this room. But at the moment, I'm quite happy with it being white. I think it just keeps it nice and neutral. So yeah, I'd love to know what you think of my little spare room makeover. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Give it a big thumbs up, and as I said, head over to my Instagram and do follow me if you want to see more of the smaller DIYs of how I did all the individual items. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of my spare room makeover, and I will see you again next time. Bye.